I actually just upgraded my handwriting machine. The new one can do 250 at a time. The price of this thing was the price of a decent used car.
I'm not the one that like sets profit goals or something like that. Like, let's just keep moving the business forward, and you've done that nonstop. You are head down just grinding this thing away, which is awesome. Like,
as everybody knows, it's not cheap to live anymore. It helps to be able to feel way more financially secure. Tomorrow I'm like, oh, I've got $45,000 coming into my bank account. That's nice.
all right, everybody, welcome back to the Real Estate Investing Podcast. Joined today by Nick Ums. Nick was on the podcast, I think about 5-6 months ago. Nick, welcome back to the show.
Hi, thanks. Glad to be back again.
It's just a cool story with like you hit the ground running with this business. When did you first get started though in land?
My LLC, I got that in June, the very beginning of June, June 6th. So that's when I started getting the ball rolling with everything, hit the ground running fast, got it set up. As soon as I got it set up, did the course, and it just kept running ever since.
So you started in June. You said the last time we were on the podcast, you had around 9-10 deals in the first 5 months, which is incredible. A lot of people have bigger struggles their first 5-6 months of the business, but you didn't kind of stay stagnant. You kept making adjustments in your business and just have grown from there. But talk about, let's back up a little bit. And guys, if you want to watch Nick's last podcast, I know we have a lot of new viewers every time, Nick. A lot of people who are like, oh, I recognize his face. He was just on. But a combination for sure. But talk about those first 6 months. Talk about getting into this business, those first 6 months. What did that look like?
So when I first started, like a lot of people, they don't know really what they're getting into. And then I was like, I'm going to put my whole force, my whole life into this. Let's just dive in and see if this works. And it really started to take off. And this business will really work when you give it your all, when you just consistently mail, when you're consistently doing the follow-up. The process will work, but it does take drive, as I said in the previous podcast, and determination and follow-up, and not being scared to talk to folks in the phone. People just want to be talked to, just like, be talking to your neighbor or something like that. Really friendly. And that's really what's progressed my ability to purchase and to also be on the selling side as well.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. So are you full-time in this now? What were you doing before land?
No, I'm still doing my W-2 all the time from 9 to 5. So the good thing is that pretty much a lot of the phone calls that I get for people that are either interested in buying the land or interested in the selling, right about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock is really the big hours for me that a lot of stuff comes in. The majority of the land that I do is in Central Time. So I'm on East Coast, so it's great because they're always 1 hour behind, which that 1 hour is just so great, especially with dealing with title companies and stuff like that in the county. I can always get, I'm like, oh, they're close. Oh, no, wait, they still got another hour. So that is the benefit with doing land for a time zone behind, maybe 1 or 2. So that's always a plus.
So you had a lot of success out of the gate. And looking back at your Discord message, like, I got 3 deals, my first 1,000 mailers, whatever it is. I know some absurd, not everyone has that, obviously. But talk about that, like, out of the gates. Do you think, did that propel you forward? Was that like, if you didn't have that success, do you think it would have been a different type of struggle? Or talk about that mindset as far as like when you first got started, because you had a ton of early success.
Yeah, when I first started, I had like 4 deals out of the first like 1,000, 2,000, and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. This actually works. It's like a money cheat code or something, and it works, and this is actually possible. Now, since then, I've had mailers. I think I've only had 1 or 2 mailers where I didn't get a deal, but those were like, kind of trial areas. But if that wouldn't have worked, I still would have continued to mail once or twice. I probably would have reached out to the community and asked, hey, can you take a look at my template? Is there anything weird going on? Is my pricing kind of all over the place? And seeing if there was something there that, somebody could help me correct. Because I see people go on the Discord, and they are the, they may have some problems or something like that, and now I'll reach out, or I see a lot of other people reach out to help people, and I'm sure that somebody would have done that for me as well, and kind of pushed me to continue through, and I would have been able to have success from there. So I would have definitely done a few mailers, because once you're kind of all in, I mean, you've put some money into this, you're gonna you're not gonna quit. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see it through. So I would have definitely continued to press on.
And I know you changed a lot. Was the first few months like was it straight from the course in terms of like your strategies? Talk about like did you do anything really different the first few months?
Yeah. So I followed the course to a T. I did exact two county removed. I was using the specific mailing template with the PA. The pricing I was doing exactly. So I was like, I'm going to do this exactly how it's structured, because I see other people it's working for, and so that's what I did, and I was very successful doing it that way. But I've heard you mention on the other podcast, everybody kind of massages it into like their own niche. Way that they want to do it. I've probably redone my mailing template maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 times. I'm constantly changing it a little bit and adding it and perfecting it a little bit more, because what I always see is how how would I receive this mailer? How would I receive it? And when I look at it, like, is this going to be like a turn off? You know, should I put this in the mail or should I not? Adding my logo, adding a picture of myself, all these little things that I'm doing. I'm constantly changing it, especially my envelopes and stuff like that for the home mailers, to see what is working and what's kind of not working. And then, of course, I want to go towards what's working for folks and kind of the response for my open rate.
So first few months, you very good success following the course, and you kind of were thinking from a seller's perspective, like how
Yeah.
do I get more phone calls? Essentially, how do I get more leads?
Yeah.
And then talk about your basement turning into a mail house.
Okay. That is like, it's crazy. I have right now in my basement and in the hallway of the front of my house pushing pushing close to 20,000 envelopes, right? So I have every different color. They're all like, basically they're invitation envelopes, kind of like the size of like a birthday card. All different colors, everything. It's like it's insane. So I just upgraded my printer, so now they just print color laser printer that I updated. So I print all the return addresses on there. I print all my letters. I'm only sending the offer letter. I'm not sending a PA with it, but they're all blind offers. I have a folding machine, which is probably one of the most key things that you can have, because people say, oh, what's the big deal of folding paper? Well, trifold is, that's a whole nother beast. But if you just fold, yeah, I'll say, okay, go fold 500 pieces of paper in half, and then just tell me how you feel about doing it. And I see a lot of people that they want to do home mailers, and people kind of get to about 150, maybe 200, pieces of mail. So I'm trying to do batches of 1,000. So it takes a little while. The other aspect of it is the handwriting machine, and I kind of spoke about it maybe before. So I have the handwriting machine. It's sitting right next to me. So I've been using this for a few months, which is great. It writes beautifully on the envelope itself. So I don't have it sign my letter or write my letter or anything like that. I have it do all the addresses. And the font that I use, I call it like the grandmother sending a birthday card to her grandson handwriting. It's not over the top, but it's not, font blocky print or anything like that. So it looks really good. I actually just upgraded my handwriting machine. It's coming tomorrow. I'm like super psyched about it, because my first handwriting machine, it could do three at a time. Then this one here can do 20 at a time. The new one can do 250 at a time. So I can just let it sit there, put a baby monitor on there in my basement, and just let it go 250 at a time, put 250 more in there. The price of this thing was the price of a decent used car, and I'm like, I'm gonna just like hammer these out. I know that there's other companies out there that um, do handwriting envelopes, and this is like one of the machines that they would have there. This thing's gonna be awesome. So I'm really looking forward to that. I got like just delivered today. I got 4,000 Betty White stamps here. So the post office just thinks that I'm like crazy because I'm constantly like just buying like tons of stamps. I like to use first class stamps, and I also have three people that do all my envelope stuffing. So now you don't think maybe somebody thinks, hey, stuffing 1,000 envelopes, what's so hard about that? Well, you gotta first you gotta stuff them. Then you have to put your little fancy dog sticker on there that I have. We have 16,000 of them on rolls of 1,200, custom made, and then you have to put the stamp on it. So you have to touch the envelope 4 times, right? And so it takes somebody about 8.5 to 9 hours to do 1,000. So I don't know anybody that wants to sit there for 9 hours. I don't want to. I have done it plenty of times. My wife and I have sat on our living room floor and stuffed envelopes, and it just gets kind of crazy. But the success from that has been like just crazy because every time I show somebody this envelope and I said, "Would you open this?" Every single person says that they would. I've never had a person say, "Well, I might throw it in the trash," because it definitely looks um, like something that somebody's specifically sending you, personalized. I'm averaging anywhere from 1 to 3 deals out of 3,000, or excuse me, 1 to 3 deals out of every 1,000. I've had a couple. Sometimes I'll just send like 400 mailers. I sent 486 mailers, and I got 2 deals out of that. And then I have one that the guy's trying to convince his wife to sell the land. So I am waiting on that one. I've gotten a deal out of just sending 166. So if they're priced right in the right county, I think it would be very hard not to get a deal out of 1,000. So it's all about the time that it takes to put these together. Home mailing seems simple, but it's expensive to get it started up, and it takes a lot of time and balance. And I have a lot of folks that want me to do mailing for them, so I'm doing the mailing for them, and trying to get everything written out as fast as possible. And you have to have the letters have to match the envelopes, so there's a whole operation that has to happen, and then I give them to the ladies come to my house, or I'll meet them somewhere. Here's the mail. They go home, they stuff it, they bring it to the post office. They take a picture of the mail at the post office. I then send the picture to the person who I'm mailing for, or if it's for myself, to say, hey, you look, here they are, they're at the post office, they're going out today. So it's a lot of work, but it does work. It's awesome. Get a lot of really good responses from it. And I know that Jenna and Allison, they were the first people that I mailed for, and they're actually closing on a deal. I'm looking here. They're closing on a deal tomorrow from one of the home mailers, and then I think that they just sent another PA to somebody that's had the land um, in their family for over 100 years. So it's like buy for 28, sell for 65. So they're like super psyched about that. And of course, I always like to hear when people are buying and selling things as well. So it's
That's
gone
awesome.
well.
That's incredible. And yeah, just getting that open rate. But talk about, because you made a pretty, I mean, it's a big change. And like a lot of people like hear you talking in Discord, like, yeah, that's easy. I'll start. And then, like you said, they do 100 of them. They fold 100.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Like my hand, I can't even write. Like we use our hands so much less. Like our hands are just on mouses nowadays. Like even writing
Yeah.
is difficult. But talk about like the mindset. Like, do you have a background like where like this just doesn't? I want to get more people open because you had so much success. A lot of times people will analyze when I'm a big believer in sports too. You got to learn from when you win. I think there's a huge issue in sports as a whole when people when teams do not make adjustments or do not analyze because you won the game. Like you won the game with your first 1,000 mailers, sending very traditional. You got 4 deals or 3 deals, whatever you said there. But talk about the mindset behind making such a wholesale change and be like, this can be better.
Yeah, so my initial thing was, okay, how can I send less mail and get more deals? So, it's like, okay, well, it all comes down to like how are people opening this mail? Like when they see it, is it inviting? Are they just gonna toss it to the side? And I figured, well, let me just try, using different colored envelopes. And, my first handwriting machine, it could do 3 at a time. It was just something that I bought off Amazon. And it was like a home run right off the beginning. I only had sent like, 166 and I got a deal. And I was like, oh my God, I've got to like upgrade this. And, I put my little, seasonal golden retriever stickers on there because I'm like, hey, who doesn't like a golden retriever? It's like the most friendly dog. So whatever season it is, I just have an image of that dog, like in a with bunny ears on it for Easter. And the one I'm using now is a golden retriever with like a flower crown for spring. So people see that and it's for the season and things like so. Okay, well maybe this has something to do with me or whatever. So they open it and it's the offer letter. So I wanted to send less mail. So now I personally figure that for every 1,000 that I send is going to be close to about 5,000 of a normal mailer. So, the normal mailer, maybe 5,000, you spend 3,500. This, it's cost me a little over $1 per, per envelope. And then on top of it, I have to pay the folks to do the envelope stuffing, which is not like the cheapest thing in the world, but people to sit there for 9 hours, you have to pay them a decent amount of money to do it. So, cost per deal is like it's so much cheaper than doing it the traditional way. And when I send out 500 or I send out 1,000, I'm like, okay, I know that I'm going to get a deal, so I have to like mentally prepare myself. So okay, let me get my finances right because I know the deal is coming. I know it like 100%. So I just have to balance all my finances with stuff going out and coming in to
So
make sure that I can cover the deal because I like to fund all the deals myself.
Ever wondered how land investing can be the fastest path to financial freedom? I break it all down in my new book, One Lot at a Time. I'll show you exactly how to find, buy, and flip land for huge profits without dealing with houses, tenants, or any crazy renovations. It's simple. This is the book that I wish I had when I first started. If you're ready to take control of your financial future, grab a copy now. One Lot at a Time by Daniel Apke. Find it at your local bookstore or on Amazon.com.
So outside of that, are you targeting anything different with these? Like, have you tested it out with bigger deals? What does your average deal type look like?
Yeah, so the deals that I do are, like I said, in the central part of the country, central South. I really like the South. I love dealing with all the people in the South. I know how to pronounce their state names the way that people in the state say it. That's very important. I had a lady, she was very particular in how I say her state name. So, okay, so now I do that all the time. Little things that you learn from a lot of people. So, what I do is when I want to find a new place, I have this one realtor. She is like a rock star. So I'll text her and I'll say, hey, what are some good places that I can mail that people are looking to buy land but they can't find it. So she'll let me know a couple different counties or cities and stuff like that. I'll also target cities that or cities around places that I've purchased from before. That's really good. For whatever reason, my real sweet spot is like 1.5 to 3 acres. That's just the way it is because I'd say 90% of the people that are buying the land want to put a mobile home on it. It's like double wide mobile home all day long. So that's what people are looking for in these specific areas. When I would put stuff on Facebook Marketplace, also people say, hey, do you have any land here? Do you have any land there? All these questions. So I say, okay, let me just buy some some land in this area. So that's kind of where I've targeted. And then I get the land and then put it back in Facebook Marketplace or put it on the MLS and sell it. But yeah, 80% of my deals have been sold through Facebook Marketplace, but that's like a whole nother beast of its own. As you know, the tire kicker should not be used lightly by any means. Somebody will be so hot on wanting to buy it, and then all of a sudden they'll be gone. So, I always try to provide as much detail to folks as possible. So, I may start leaning more towards realtors in this area, mainly because there's so much that I have listed now. Like I have 9 listed right now, so it's kind of hard to like keep track of all this stuff at the same time. Where if I give it to a realtor, that's good. Now, I hate to break it to all the realtors, but I would say 95% for land, not good, not good realtors. So you got to really find that one rock star out there that's really gonna kind of go to bat for you and do a little extra work, because a lot of them, unless it's really high dollar deal, for $40,000, they probably aren't going to put too much effort into it. So besides, just doing Facebook Marketplace, but I have had a lot of luck with this one specific realtor.
So what is so much of your time and energy is into preparing essentially your marketing? How does that line up there? Like, what are your goals for 2025? Because it's obviously like to be able to scale up, you need to either do bigger deals or do more deals.
Yeah.
What are your goals in 2025? Where are you right now? We're what is it, April 24th? Where are you right now? What are your goals for 2025?
Yeah. So right from the beginning, let's see, I have 15 sold. We've got 9 in the market. The first up to date, I have the net profits about 200,000, minus like drone pictures and stuff like that. And then the ones that I currently have listed, the 9, it's going to be probably somewhere around 275,000, somewhere around there. So that's what I'm looking at. And I have some that are currently on the disposition side. I have one actually closing tomorrow, which is going to be awesome. And then I'm buying another one with that money. It's like the balance of money. I'm buying the other one, I think on Tuesday. And one of the things that I'm starting to do and what I want to do in 2025, and you guys actually just talked about this, like the top ways to improve your land. So I've really been looking at that. I have a guy that I use to do like my, the dirt work, and he charges, a really good price to do all this work. And so I'll buy, a piece of land that's, got trees on it and everything like that. And he'll go through there and he'll just completely clear it, minus like, bigger trees and stuff like that. He'll spend like 2 days clearing it, flattening it out, and then he'll get crushed concrete, like gravel or whatever, and then he'll make a nice driveway and he'll just pad that thing down really hard. And that way, when I have my for sale sign, which a for sale sign is like almost important as being on the MLS, I have my for sale sign, the person drives up, they see it, they can just access the land. It's not like, going into a forest where you don't even know where to start. They get out of their car, they say, hey, can I walk it? Yeah, sure. They can walk down the driveway. They can walk around the land. They can envision where they're going to put their house or their mobile home or whatever. And that is what I'm going to be concentrating on doing, is doing land improvements before I get my drone images, because I want to have it looking really nice before I get the drone images, because otherwise I'm going to either have to send my drone guy out twice or have the guy who's doing the dirt work do the pictures, and the drone's going to get the best pictures besides the guy using his phone to take pictures and send them to me, and then I'm using those pictures on the MLS. But yeah, land improvements, that's all I want to do. I don't want to run any electric or anything like that. If it's at the road, just I'm going to leave it at the road. I'm not going to do any I'll do perk testing, but I don't want to put in any septic or drill any wells because I don't know where the person wants to put the house.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. So land improvements, I'll probably stick to the 1.5 to 3 acres. I know that we have one that's like almost 7 acres. Um, that's currently in the disposition side right now. We're just waiting to get a perk test on that. But yeah, land improvements. It's so cheap. It cost me like 4 or 5 thousand bucks to have the whole place pretty much cleared out for a house and a crushed concrete driveway. 4 or 5 thousand bucks. It's like, to me, it's a no-brainer, because I can get it sold so much faster than if nothing was done to it whatsoever, and it's just a forest. You don't even know where to start. You don't know where the property lines are, so it can be really confusing. So my goal is to make it as easy as possible for the potential buyer to make a decision and to be able to envision what the land is capable of.
Do you see that as like your intent for doing this? Do you see that as just selling which one more, selling faster or an ROI on the money that you spend on improvements, or is it just a combination of the both?
It'd probably be a combination of both. If it would sell fast, I think if it would sell super fast, I would just, and maybe not make as much on it. I would probably go that route. Um, but I'm able to get the land cleaned up and put the driveway in within like a week. I just call this guy. He goes out a couple of days later. He does it. So it's like really, really fast. And this is a guy that reached out to me on Facebook Marketplace, and that, I get a lot of people, hey, do you want this land cleaned up? All this crap all the time. So I was like, okay, let me give this guy a call. So he gets stuff done like super fast, and he'll drive like hours to
Wow.
take a look at specific pieces of land and kind of tell me, oh, you want a mile long gravel road put in? It's going to cost you this much. So I would like to do a minor subdivision. I have somebody that I could do it, but it would end up being a major subdivision. But there's like so many things that come along with a major subdivision. So yeah, definitely land improvements, because I think that's going to be kind of the way to go. Because there's so much stuff out there that's just like a forest, and everyone just has a for sale sign inside of this like massive thing of trees, and it's much more attractive when it's got a driveway already ready to go.
It brings out a completely new buyer pool. Like people who like just don't want to do that will be interested in potential land if it has a driveway. Like it will. I think it's going to bring a decent ROI along with, especially when you're self-funding everything.
Yeah.
Like you want to get your money back as fast as possible. You seem like you're more focused on like whether it's your marketing or like opposed to like gross profit projections or goals. Do you have you have $475,000 of projected or realized profit essentially in your first 8 months, whatever, 10 months. Do you have goals for 2025 in terms of your profit? Is more just like, I want to keep building on this and see where it goes?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just pushing forward. I'm like, I don't have any specific, oh, I want to make 500 or I want to make $1 million. I'm just like, I'm just going. I'm just, mailing, having stuff come in, closing deals, putting it on the market, closing on the disposition side, and just keeping the cycle going as much as possible. Now, also with mailing for other people, that also takes a big chunk of my time. So that is another one of my big goals, is to become a pretty decent size mail house where, maybe I'm sending out three. I mean, it sounds low, but 3 to maybe 4 or 5 thousand a week for other folks and stuff like that, which does take a lot of my time to do. But in the long run, that's kind of like the long game. When those people, when they buy and then they sell, that could be anywhere from a month to 6 months down the road. But I think that's something new. So I'm always changing up, the game and seeing, okay, what can I do that's a little bit different that I haven't done before? What are other people not doing? So I'm always willing to try something out that no one's doing and just, hey, seeing if it works. I mean, why not? And it seems to be going in my favor, which is pretty good, and going in everybody else's favor too. So that's always a big plus.
That's exciting. Yeah, I think that's a really good feature. And I'm not the one that like sets profit goals or something like that. Like, let's just keep moving the business
Yeah,
forward. And you've done that
yeah.
nonstop since you started. What advice do you have as we close this off? What advice do you have for someone looking to get into this business? Because I mean, you probably have different advice than a lot of people, which is like you are head down, just grinding this thing away, which is awesome. Like there's so much, like I assume you're putting a lot of time,
Mhm.
energy, effort into this business as well as money. You've invested a ton into different resources. But what advice do you have for someone looking to get into land if they're comparing land flipping to house wholesaling or house flipping? What are your thoughts on the business as a whole and what advice?
Yeah, it's you just really have to be persistent about doing it. It's not a business that you can just do a little bit of mail here and wait, nothing happens, and just kind of like maybe a couple months goes by. You have to be really in it. Like it becomes more than a hobby. It's like, for some people it's their main job or their second job, where you have to put everything into it as if it was your normal W-2. um, that is, you know I don't think that if you can't give it your all, it's probably not for some people. Uh, and for folks that need some help, I know that you guys have the coaching, and then you have, with Discord, there's a lot of great people. And let me tell you, the Discord is probably like the best place. I don't think I've ever seen a negative comment the whole time I've ever been on there. It's the most helpful place ever. So it's super cool, and everybody can get answers real quick. So for new people, always reach out there, and see what kind of help people can give you, because there's always people willing to give some guidance. And everybody has little a little different approach to everything. And if something doesn't work, always feel free to change it up. You're your own boss in this whole business, which I like, because then I can make changes and I don't have to ask permission for anything. I just go ahead and do it. I'm going to change this template. I'm going to do this. Um, so it's pretty awesome. I love doing this. I love talking to people. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid on the phone. That's
Yeah.
another big thing. Talk to people, just like, they're your friend or something like that, where you don't sound all salesy.
Yeah. That's a really good point. And you started off saying with that, you started off talking about it being like a business. And I just got off a podcast with Landon,
Mhm.
recording a podcast, and like treating this like a business is really important. Like you cannot just throw stuff at the wall and just like see what happens. Like you got to make stuff happen in this business, whether it's making minor tweaks. Like don't blame the business model because there's too many people who are successful, but it's truly treating it as a business. Like it cannot just be like, I'm going to try this out and then see what happens. And if it doesn't happen, like, yeah, this didn't work. You need to be all in. Is that kind of what you're saying? Like coming into this, you need to be all in. You need to believe in the business model before you spend money on a course, spend money on coursing, everything like this. It's not like a dip your toe in the water thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to go full force, and uh, without some guidance, I think would be very, very difficult, if not impossible, to get into this business. Because I have seen people that want to start, like, oh, I'm going to start mailing. And I'm like, okay, first you got to get your LLC. There's a specific order that you can do this, so you can't just say, oh, I'm just going to start mailing. I mean, you have to follow the process. That's why your all's course is just so great, because it really lays it out, and then you can kind of change things up if you want, to better fit your style. But that's like a great springboard to be able to understand how the business works. You really need to know how it works before you start just mass mailing. Otherwise, you're just going to waste a bunch of money. So understand the process is a very important piece of the puzzle.
That's a really good point. What as we wrap up, what has this business model done for you, done for your future, if anything big? Like, is there something like on the horizon in terms of like this business model is going to let me do this based on the money you bring in, or is it just like a day by day thing?
Yeah, well, we have a not a newborn, but she's 21 months old. So just trying to try to kind of build up a little something for her as we're kind of growing this business. As everybody knows, it's not cheap to live anymore. Everything's pretty expensive these days. So it helps to be able to feel way more financially secure. Like,
Mm.
I mean, like tomorrow, I'm like, oh, I've got $45,000 coming into my bank account tomorrow. That's nice. That feels good. That's gonna really help, and that's gonna help fund the other deal. I just take the money and I buy more land. That's
Yeah.
all I'm just constantly doing. Um, but yeah, financial security is definitely a good feeling where you can relax a little bit and not be stressed about it because you have your W-2 and then you have this. Yeah, it's more work, but it is more money. So to get the reward, you have to put the work in because this is not like a slam dunk easy business, but it's not hard at all. I really feel that anybody can do it. Anybody that puts their all into it can do it. It's just, do they have what it takes to put their all into the business and to follow through and to follow up and to call people back in 2 minutes versus an hour and a half. I mean, you gotta like be on the ball with all these people, and that's what really closes these deals, is just being on the ball and having the drive to see everything through. It's not an A to B process. It's really it's a little bit of a journey. You can start something, you can send out the mail, and you may end up getting paid on there in 6 months. But you have to be able to kind of see it all the way through on every single one of the deals. But yeah, it's a journey. That's what I call it. It's a fun one though, because you get
That's
paid. You got to get paid at the end of the journey, right?
exactly. That's incredible advice. And I was looking back at our Discord messages, and I'll read this directly. It's 6/2/2024. Thanks, Ron. I plan on to sign up for the boot camp either today or tomorrow. Would I be that was just asking about CRM. My goal is to be a guest on your podcast within 12 months. And I think, Nick, you are officially the first multiple time
Ooh.
guest in the first 12 months of joining the program. So credit to you and all the different things you've done, the way you've hit this business full on. It's insane that you still have a W-2, but I don't want to get you in trouble or anything like that. But credit to you, all the work you put into this business. I really, really appreciate you coming on the show. If you guys are in the Discord, Nick is very active in Discord. He's like Nick said, the community is there to support. Free Discord if you're a member, paid Discord, so much value there. But yeah, reach out to Nick in Discord if you have questions or anything like that. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to help. But thank you so much for coming on, Nick.
All right. Thanks a lot for having me.
If you guys are watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button below. Listen on Spotify or Apple. Share this with a friend. This is a really, really cool episode. I'm excited to see how this does. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys next time.